13 weeks continued. So I'm now out of that pub because my phone died. And yeah, this might be the only recording from 13 weeks if I can't be bothered stitching them together. Where are we at with the journey? Less than 4 months, coming up on 3 months ahead of the big one. And we are at the end of the first phase of the summer. And it's now a week since, I'm just going to move this chair back. It's now a week since we completed our first decathlon last week in Oxford, Operation Oxford. Wasn't really entirely a success. It was a success in that we made it through the decathlon, we experienced it, and we were injury free, but not a success in meeting the sort of marks I was wanting to meet. So yeah, it's been difficult getting up to speed in these events. I really don't have a gauge of who I should be measuring myself against, given that even the masters athletes that I'm competing against here have all been doing this sort of stuff for years. And for the juniors that have only been doing it for as long as I've been doing it, there's just different scoring systems, and they only do octathlon, they don't do decathlon, and they're using different heights and implements and stuff, so really difficult to get a feel for where I should lie in any sort of theoretical pack of people. So again, I'm not right there with setting my goals for the next phase yet. I have clarified my competition schedule for the rest of the summer. So I've got a 10-week gap until my next decathlon. There will be one league meeting as part of that, which will be 2 weeks before. Then straight after that decathlon, I will do the regional East of England pentathlon, which is open to masters and seniors. So instead of the 10 events, it will just be the 5 events of 200, 1500, long jump, discus and javelin. So different to the ladies' indoor pentathlon, which is 60 metres, 6 metres hurdles, 800 high jump and long jump. No. Maybe just long jump and a shot. I'll need to double check that. Might just be 200 metres. Anyway, it's not the same as that pentathlon, but there is a regional pentathlon, so I've got an opportunity as part of my progress and my journey to compete much more at my own level. So within the senior athletes in my region that are doing combined events with a reduced schedule, I think some of the guys that will be doing that will also be masters athletes, and I think I'll be like in the middle of the field there. So there might only be like 5 folk competing there. So from the middle of the field, right in the middle on third, then that'll be enough for a regional medal, which would be great. Which would be really, really good. So it's definitely something to work towards. Again, similar to what I've said before, there's a real temptation at this point to say, oh right, well, we've got out there, we've learned some lessons, and we've had a good time, we've had some fun, and now it's time to be a masters athlete and see what marks we get and high fives all round and stuff like that. And this sort of pentathlon would really be fitting in with that, but that's not what we're going for. I am trying to get back in the shape of my life, which would be on a different level. So unfortunately, given the decathlons that I'm actually eligible for the rest of the summer season, there's only 2 more that I'm eligible for, and they're a week apart, so I can't do both of them. So it'll be one more senior level decathlon, and then the decathlon in Madiera is what we're planning to do. We're not planning to do any single events. So I've only got one more kind of decathlon that I can do this summer that's not the kind of masters with the lower hurdles. So a lot hinges on that 1 week, but I can work in getting consistent before then. I can work on a good deload before it, and yeah, I only need one decathlon to really hit all the marks. So what happened today, I was at the SAL, so the Southern Athletics League here near here in Gillingham in Kent, and this is a region across this whole south of England. So there's teams from here and all the way like Reading and places out west of London and Norwich as well. And what did I compete in today? So I was competing in the pole vault, the javelin, the discus, and the 110 hurdles. And it went quite well. It went good. I wasn't very well rested. I wasn't massively physically well prepared. So the hurdles didn't do as well in. It was 20.6 seconds. So again, down on the mark from last weekend. Not helped by the fact that I didn't really get any proper hurdles warm up. And I was in the middle of doing the pole vault when I had to run over to the hurdles, and it was just lucky that somebody false started and I got like a proper run out. So got some points for the team, but I was down at like 20.6 seconds. So the slowest again I've ever done, incrementally slower in the hurdles. Didn't manage to clear all of them. I still don't know how I cleared into how I ran 17.3 seconds when I was in 2018 in Dublin. Still a bit of a mystery. I don't know if I was doing 3 steps between the hurdles or what I was, or 6 steps between the hurdles. I don't know what was going on, but I believe I can get back to that form. I do believe that. So that was the hurdles. Javelin, slightly down on my season's best or personal best of 22 and a bit meters. I was in just under 22 meters, so quite consistent, kind of within a meter of my personal best, so can't complain too much. Again, I was throwing the javelin while I was doing the pole vault. Pole vault did much better in 2 meters 70, clear 20 centimeter PB. Yeah, higher than I was last weekend. And we know I can go higher still. We're aiming for 3 meters by the end of the year. I mean, ideally be jumping or vaulting 3 meters 20, which is the British Masters merit standard. That little comment from Sammy Ball last week that I can jump 3 meters. Yeah, that was good. My hand sliding down the pole as I'm going. Some of that's because I'm not. Some of it was actually just sliding, but some of it was that I was actually not gripping it properly because I don't trust myself to grip it properly, because I feel like if I grip it, I'll kind of go up and then fall back, as has happened before. So yeah, maybe lacking a little bit of self-belief in the pole vault, but it just shows you every time that I do a new pole vault competition, even when there's not been a gap in between, I'm going up 20 centimetres a time, and that can just continue to go up until I start to reach kind of physiological barriers. But speed's not a physiological barrier because the 100 metres is my best event still, despite being down on personal best. Flexibility and upper body strength, it's not a massive hurdle. Like a good upper body strength, I can do pull-ups and stuff like that. So yeah, I can do like 10 pull-ups in a row, so I'm not concerned there about my grip strength or anything. So a lot of it's just kind of confidence. Anyway, so that was an improvement. And the discus was also a 1 metre PB as well, so I threw 23.5 metres. Really good to be competing with Declan Manning, who's also from the City of Norwich Athletics Club, and he is a national level para-athlete. And he was saying how you need to get your knee round and give it a kind of power it with the knee first, and then I don't know what exactly. I mean, I couldn't demonstrate it here because I'm in the car, but the way he explained it just made a lot of sense, and that was my first throw. I just threw it out to yeah, a clear PB as well. Again, this is from a standing start. So good day at the office. Wasn't very well rested. It was a week after the previous competition, so I wasn't expecting to be doing really good, but it just shows you in the technical events. Didn't do much this week at all, and I can just come back and perform, and out of the 4 events I got 2 PBs. So where does that leave us overall? Well, actually that leaves us in a place where I've not got 4,000 points in the decathlon, but if you were to top up all my season's best and season's best, it's not personal best, in the decathlon over the last few months, then I would be over 4,000 points, and that's even from the outdoor season as well, because it was like 4,063 I calculated just there, My PB in the high jump was 160, which is an indoor season, but outdoors it's 159. So that 1 centimetre is not going to take me under 4,000 points. So that's all just to say that if I want to do 4,000 in a decathlon, then all I have to do is replicate performances that I've already had. And these performances, again, it's not like I'm resting all week and doing one pole vault, and surely I can't put that together and doing 10 events over 2 days. Today I was PBing in the pole vault despite doing 2 other events in the middle of it. Again, PBing in the shot after having quite a long week and just travelling back to the UK today and stuff. So yeah, so we know where we're at. One of my self-talk things that I say with the pole vault is, Matt, or the long jump, I'll just say, like, Matt, because I know how far I can jump. Even though I've not done it, I know I can get there. Like if I'm jumping 5 meters 20, 30 in training, then I know I can go beyond that in competition. If I'm vaulting 2 meters 50 in training, I know I can go beyond that in competition when the pressure's on. So goals wise, I'm going to give it another week until the next instalment, and then we'll talk about our goals for the next phase. I think my goal for the next phase should really be up until this next decathlon, what we're aiming for the next decathlon. There's an argument to be made for this 4,500 mark for that decathlon, and saying, look, that actually was a reasonable mark, but you just needed more time for it. So that could be quite a sobering thing to have the same goal twice in a row. But we've got a nice clean training block before that. So that's us up to 12 minutes. We're going to drive home here just now. I've got another 2 hours of driving, so I'm going to get after it. Touch base next week on the road to Madiera. Yeah, again, just looking ahead to Madiera, I think it's really going to be important for me to have had a variety of different competition under my belt, but also this one at the end of September, the Eastern Athletics Combined events. I think that's going to be helpful to get a feel for these senior athletes masters athletes, and for being in the middle of the pack, because at the moment I'm often feeling, whether it's with the shot or the discus or whatever, I'm kind of at the bottom of the pack. These guys are all specialists and I'm kind of the novice in there, which can weigh a little bit. So stay tuned.